You know what's something that I'll never understand? Console warriors. People who basically make their whole identity talking about Xbox or PlayStation. It's literally the only thing they care about, and nothing else matters. That is just something that is so weird to me, and I am just shocked that they still exist to this day. Because I remember back in the day, console warriors, that was an extremely big deal. You know, people talking about which console was better, Xbox or PlayStation, people going back and forth. But ever since the Xbox One and PS4 ended up coming out, people just really stopped caring about that. I just realized that what I said made no sense because during that time, that's when the console war was probably at its highest because that was when Xbox One had an absolutely terrible release. I mean, it's basically legendary how awful that whole event and announcement went, that PlayStation basically got a guarantee win. But I would say during that whole generation, the PS4 and Xbox One generation of consoles, that's when people started caring less because the more time went by, the more people just realized that, hey, these are just pieces of plastic at the end of the day, and no one really cares what company you bought from. Because who really cares at the end of the day? You know, it's just a piece of plastic, and you're really just buying from a company who does not care about you at all. Okay, all they want to do is make money, and they just want you to buy their console, and they want you to buy their video games. That's truly the only thing that matters to them. They don't care that you spend hours of your time on Twitter fighting for Xbox. Okay, they're not gonna walk up to you and give you like a reward, or maybe they're gonna give you like a helicopter or something. They do not care. But the console warrior topic is something that I try to stay away from because it's just super repetitive. It's usually just the same thing over and over again of just people bringing up complaints that just don't matter, or just people saying stuff that's dumb. But even though I tell myself that multiple times, sometimes you just fold. A best example is like, you know how sometimes when you're eating chips and you tell yourself that, oh, I'm only gonna eat a little bit, but then you know that you just lied to yourself and you end up eating the whole bag of chips, and they're sitting down wondering to yourself, why did I do something like this? That's basically me every time when I see a console warrior. I see one tweet and I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna stop from this point. I'm not gonna look at this anymore. But then I just keep on going. Now, the last time we ended up talking about console warriors, it was when Starfield ended up releasing. When that game came out, a ton of PlayStation fanboys were basically buying the game, which I think is extremely interesting that all these people hate these companies, but they will still spend time and money to basically buy the game just so they can go and find problems. And when I mean find problems, I don't mean they bring up actual criticisms that make sense. Because a good example, Starfield is a game that's not perfect. It has a lot of problems with it. What the main issue, in my opinion, is just the developers just refuse to evolve. Bethesda just kind of do the same thing over and over again because they know it's going to work. Starfield is an extremely safe game that doesn't really do anything. They didn't really evolve the Bethesda formula, and they kind of just released Fallout 4 in space. But these PlayStation fanboys weren't talking about that. No, they were talking about the real problem, like, why can you not go and land on the sun? You know, actual stuff that doesn't matter at all, and not real criticisms that actually affect the game. Well, something like that ended up happening on the other side, because not so long ago, Spider-Man 2 ended up releasing, and that is also another game that I kind of have the same problem with. It's just a game that's extremely safe. The developers saw that, hey, Spider-Man 1 succeeded, you know, a lot of people like it, even Miles Morales was extremely good. Instead of just actually evolving the formula, let's just do the same thing again, and then make like an extremely safe and predictable Venom story, and not really do anything new. That's the main problem with the game. But do you really think Xbox fanboys, when they go and buy the game, you think they're talking about that? No. They talk about the real issue, like bringing up absolutely stupid bugs that barely happens. Now, Spider-Man 2 is a game that is pretty well made. Most PlayStation first-party games are pretty bug-free. The only one that I remember releasing extremely glitchy was Days Gone. I think that's what it was called. You know, the one where you're in the zombie apocalypse and you're on a motorcycle, and it's like a PlayStation exclusive game. I remember that one kind of released pretty broken and unfinished, but other than that, they have a really good track record of releasing complete games. But obviously, it doesn't matter how perfect you patch the game or how much effort you put into it, so it has no bugs, you are going to find one. anyone, even Nintendo games, which are known for releasing absolutely flawlessly, even they have some problems. While Xbox fanboys has basically been trying their hardest to find any problem, it is absolutely insane how much tweets I have just been finding of people trying to find the smallest issues and blow it out of proportion. They'll be like, look, this Spider-Man 2 bug is absolutely ridiculous. But before I continue talking about it, let me show you some.
I don't get Sandman. You covered everything with that. No way in hell. Anything you want to.
Now, this is the main tweet that made me want to talk about this in the first place, because this is in the category of someone just making up a completely stupid complaint that doesn't matter at all. And it is that, why in a Spider-Man game, when you can walk around and web swing, why can you not ride the subway? Now, the person who ended up tweeting this also has some even better criticisms, like, why can you not go buy a pizza? I mean, you're in New York, come on. Why can you not go and buy a sub? I mean, if we're going to this point, why can I not go and ride a taxi? This isn't a realistic game at all. Like, come on, it's a Spider-Man game. This isn't GTA 5, or this isn't a life simulator. This is a complaint that doesn't matter at all. Spider-Man 2 is not a perfect game. These people can easily bring up real criticisms and real issues with the game and bring it up to the public and actually start a real life conversation, but instead, they're too busy looking at dumb stuff like this that just makes absolutely no sense. And that's not the only legendary banger I have. I also have this clip right here when someone was in the scene fighting and then this ended up happening. Oh no, a generic bug that happens in a lot of games. One of the bodies ended up glitching and they ended up jumping up and down. This 100% proves that Spider-Man 2 is just an absolutely garbage game and there's no reason to play it. How dare Insomniac even release something like this? Anyway, this is something that I am not going to talk about anymore because I can literally go in for hours talking about these absolutely stupid tweets, but I think these two basically just explain perfectly what I'm talking about. I just think this is extremely weird to me, because I think if your whole identity is to literally defend one side, you know, you just want to go out to the public and prove that, hey, my console, my piece of plastic is better than yours, you should actually play these games and show valid criticism that actually makes sense. Spider-Man 2 isn't a perfect game. Again, I think this is an extremely safe game, and the developers didn't really care enough to actually evolve the formula. They kind of just did the same thing again because they knew it was going to succeed. They made something extremely safe. I think that's a real problem, not that, why can I not ride the subway? Anyway, this is something that I want to talk about. My name is Lua. You have a good day or night. See ya.